Okay, I'm not going to stay here very long because I don't even want to get near the bed. I mean, I'm going to look in it and see if I see some hair or anything like that, any bio artifacts, I guess you could say.
Bigfoot researcher Steve O'Neill believes he has stumbled on Bigfoot's lair. He notices fresh bedding made out of rhododendron.
Well, the Sasquatch bed is still there, but it looks different. A lot less pine this time. I still see pine underneath the rhodo, but mostly rhodo. Very interesting. And it's bigger. And the rhodo looks really fresh. While I get stuff ready. Okay, I'm not going to stay here very long because I don't even want to get near the bed. I mean, I'm going to look in it and see if I see some hair or anything like that, any bio artifacts, I guess you could say.
O'Neill isn't personally sticking around, but he is going to attach a trail camera to this tree. He's attaching it so that it captures any Bigfoot that would be walking into this nest.
So I think the camera is angled pretty well towards the Sasquatch bed. And now all I need to do is arm it and get out of here. So let's do that. Okay, one thing I want to do here before I leave the site and before I set up the camera is check this bed for any new hair. I need is light. Let me get my light. Oh look, hair. Oh, it's a totally different kind of hair. That looks like human hair. Oh wow, I need to collect this. I'm not going to touch it. I need to get my gloves.
Inside, he discovers a clump of dark, almost human-like hair. But the real magic happens when he returns 3 days later. O'Neill was returning for his trail cam. And this is what it captured. To him, it's a chilling sign. Something powerful is guarding its space, and it doesn't want to be touched. This photo was taken by what the family calls the back low, a game camera set low to the ground at the far end of the property. It's one of the busiest spots they monitor, with hogs showing up on the card almost every week. But on this night, instead of hogs, the camera captured something else. At first it just looks like motion blur, but when you stop and focus you can see it clearly. I mean, whatever it is, the figure is massive, moving low to the ground. Limbs and torso way too big to be human. Its build is thick, powerful, and the face doesn't resemble any animal the family has ever seen out there. The family says strange noises have been reported on the property before, the sense of being shadowed while they're hunting, but they never had proof. Some who've seen the photo think it matches the description of the dog man, while others lean toward the skinwalker stories. Whatever it is, the blur make it looks like it's on a mission, or it's like mid-charge. Like, what's on the other side of that trail cam? What makes it so disturbing is that this is the only shot. There's no sequence, it's just a single frame of something ripping through the woods. Since this was taken, the family has been checking the camera every night. Half of them are actually excited. Anyhow, they're hoping we can help them out, so if you have any idea of what this could be, put it in the comments. I mean, just take the entire vehicle. This isn't a black snake, this is a cobra. Yeah, the car is all yours. You are now the proud owner of a 1987 Toyota Camry.
Mga kablising ko! Unang huli ko!
I just think that this guy enjoyed this a little too much. A man out diving is just enjoying his day. He snatches this little octopus from the ocean floor, and things take a turn. Now, I don't know if this guy's in any real danger, but that octopus looks like it has a grip on him much harder than I anticipated. The one tentacle has slid right over his mouth. I mean, the strength on this little guy is noted.
You ain't gonna believe me. I know you ain't gonna believe me, but I just got picked up and I got marks on me where they just scraped me and everything like that, and they set me in a parking lot in John Day, Oregon. And what happens, I left a bar, and I'd like somebody to get the hell down here. I have a military record, and I have no such record of any scars on me where they scraped me. So please get the hell down here.
The phone rang in the darkness, cutting through the silence of Robert Gribble's office. As founder of the National UFO Reporting Center, he'd answered thousands of calls since establishing the hotline in 1974. Most were curious observers, a few were hoaxsters, but the voice on the other end that night was different. This man was terrified. "You have to believe me," the voice trembled through the static. "They took me, they actually took me." The caller identified himself as a former hospital corpsman from the Navy. His words slurred slightly from alcohol, but his terror crystal clear. He'd been drinking at a local bar when it happened. One moment ordering another beer, the next finding himself 6 blocks away in an empty parking lot with no memory of how he got there.
But you describe exactly what happened right from the beginning.
Hey man, they had eyes about, 4 inches wide, and maybe a little shorter than me, and I'd like somebody to get the hell down here. I have a military record, and I ain't that damn drunk, man, that I don't remember. I guarantee you that.
But it wasn't the missing time that haunted him most. It was the eyes. Their eyes were 4 inches wide, he kept repeating. 4 inches, I can't get them out of my head. The beings, he claimed, had conducted a series of medical experiments. Needles pierced his skin. Samples were extracted from his throat. Most disturbingly, they collected his genetic material. A detail that would become disturbingly common in abduction reports for decades to follow.
I know what they look like, man. Hey, I'd be willing to take a lie detector test or hypnosis or whatever the trip you want to do. But I know I've seen them, man, and that's good enough for me. Dig it all, man. I got scars on me I've never had in my life. And I've been in the United States Navy, and I don't like these scars on me that I've never had.
Throughout the 20-minute call, the man desperately tried to establish his credibility. "I'm not crazy," he pleaded. "I served in Vietnam. I was a corpsman. I know what real trauma looks like. This wasn't a flashback. This was real." When Gribble called the local police later that day, the responding officer's account only deepened the mystery. "We found him sitting in the middle of the parking lot," the officer confirmed. "Wild with fear, but completely lucid."
I don't know, I've seen a number of flashbacks and stuff like that, you know. And this is what it really looked like, except that he was able to recognize people. You know, I mean, he wasn't really out of it. He made statements like he got a finger wave and they kept specimens of his sperm, and they looked into his ear and they took a big long swab and did something to the inside of his throat, and his throat was sore. And, you know, I mean, on and on and on.
The officer had run a background check. The man's service record was legitimate. His time in Vietnam was documented. His medical training was real. So whatever happened to him that night, he firmly believes every word of it.
And they don't believe me either, man. They think I'm a nut. Hey, I know you don't believe me either, man, but you know, nobody ain't gonna believe me. I know they ain't gonna believe me, man.
What makes this even creepier is that the John Day incident wasn't isolated. That summer, Oregon experienced what researchers now called a flap, a concentrated period of unusual activity. Reports flooded in from across the state. Families described being followed by mysterious lights. One man reported 3 black triangular craft hovering over his property, followed by a complete memory gap involving his entire family. Most chilling was his encounter afterward. A strange man in a black suit appeared at his door, warning him to forget what you think you saw. The visitor left no identification, no business card, and when neighbors were questioned, no one remembered seeing anyone matching his description in the area. The John Day caller was never heard from again. Not being from the area originally, he vanished as quickly as he'd appeared, leaving behind only the haunting audio recording of his desperate pleas for someone, anyone, to believe him. Experts say that what makes this case particularly unsettling isn't its uniqueness. It's how perfectly it fits a pattern that the National UFO Reporting Center has documented for nearly 50 years. Large eyes, medical experimentation, missing time, genetic sampling. The details repeat across thousands of reports from individuals who have never met, never spoken, never coordinated their stories. And today, the hotline continues to ring, the database continues to grow, and somewhere in those thousands of desperate voices lies a truth that conventional science isn't ready to acknowledge. We are not alone, and whatever is visiting us has a very specific agenda. The question doesn't feel like if these encounters are real. It's more so, what do they want with us? Jenny was looking toward the rocks when she suddenly said she saw something dark slip into what looked like a cave. At first, everyone thought it might just be her imagination, but the timing was suspicious. They had just found fresh bear scat and some pretty large, unidentifiable tracks not too far away. The guy filming zoomed his camera in on the opening, trying to see if anything was moving. He admitted he thought he'd seen something shift inside, and the idea that a bear had ducked in there to avoid them would have made sense. While keeping the camera on the cave, they started scanning the ground nearby. That's when they spotted what looked like the hind print of a bear in the soft pine needles. Between that and the dung they had already come across, the evidence was pointing pretty clearly to a black bear. But for a while there, their adrenaline was pretty high, thinking they might have just come across a Bigfoot. Also, let's not forget, this is a bear we're talking about, so you're still in its domain, you are not out of harm's way. With that, the group didn't want to take chances. They stayed back, kept filming, but you could tell the tension was rising. And right when they were deciding if they should push closer or leave, the rain started coming down. They thought it was an omen. It was at least enough to make the choice easy. They decided to pack it up. In the end, what Jenny thought might have been something mysterious turned out to be another reminder of just how close these encounters with wildlife can get. In 2008, a man inherited some land from his grandfather who passed away. On it, he found some trail cameras. After he retrieved the SD card, and while most of them just show clips of the wilds of Montana, one particular pic stood out. As he was scanning through the usual images of deer and small game, he stopped cold on one frame. Standing just off center was a dark, upright figure. Taller than any man he knew, with long limbs. Like anyone, yeah, he thought it was a bear. But as he looked closer, it appears to stride on two legs. It's actually caught mid-step in this photo. The photo was later shared with professors at a nearby university. To the family's surprise, no one could provide a clear explanation. In one section, they're quoted as saying, "The subject is too slim for a bear, too stocky for a man. Yeah, how about he's covered in hair? That's a pretty good tell." The man wonders if his grandfather knew about this creature and if he left that trail camera out there for him specifically. But skepticism lingers. Some are saying that it is definitely a bear if it's real. Others are saying the entire thing is made up. The guy's made up. There's no grandfather trail cam story. That this is actually Photoshop or whatever. I don't know. Something about it seems kind of real to me. It could also just be a prank, a hunter in a costume hoping to spark up some talk. Whatever it is, it's one of those camera captures that sits uneasily between possibility and hoax. If real, one of the most startling clips shows a figure racing toward the camera. It had the broad chest and upright stance of a man, but its head is unmistakably canine. The image suggests that this is some type of dogman or werewolf. The unsettling part isn't just the way it looks, but its urgency, like, this isn't a creature just drifting by the camera or accidentally crossing frame. It looks aware, deliberate, almost aggressive. For believers, this was groundbreaking evidence, sharper than the usual blurry silhouettes. Yet doubt hangs over the photo. Some argue the crispness itself is what condemns it. Modern AI image generators can create figures with uncanny realism, and the too perfect details give it away. Others proposed it might just be someone in a costume, staged to prey on those eager for proof. Still, when seen without context, the frame is hard to dismiss. Real or fake, it grips the imagination in a way few trail cam photos can. Charles hadn't expected anything unusual when he flipped through the photos he'd taken along the Chippewa River earlier that spring. The shots were ordinary, tree, water, brush, until one image stopped him cold. It was a figure that didn't quite fit. Its outline was broad and human-like, but far too large, almost camouflaged in the shadows. Charles remembered that this wasn't the first time something strange had come out of that area. Over the years, he'd tracked massive footprints in the sand and along muddy banks. And now, staring at the photograph, he realized that perhaps the tracks weren't just passing through. Perhaps whatever left them had been watching all along, blending into the forest and keeping itself just far enough away to remain unseen, until this accidental capture on film. Have you guys seen the Patterson-Gimlin enhanced footage? Check this out. Researcher M.K. Davis enhanced the video and cleaned up the picture with AI. The haters are calling this BS, but true Bigfoot enthusiasts, they're pumped up. They want to see more. The old clip was cleaned up so well it appears you can see the creature's eyes. A little spooky if you ask me. What do you guys think? After hearing some startling growls at the back of this property coming from the woods, these men are determined to find out who or what is making this noise.
Whoa, stop.
What was that? What was that?
Dude, that sounded like a growl.
That was a growl. And it was decently close.
Yeah, that wasn't. Dude, that is a growl.
It is a growl. Fall back up this way.
You know, I picture myself like, that's a little too deep and powerful for my liking. I'm gonna head out. Reminds me of that Simpsons gif where the grandpa walks in the bar and then walks right back out. Yep. But I'm definitely interested in seeing whatever you pick up on this film. I'll just be back in the house. The Kangal is a powerful Kangals a few times on this channel, and it's always with wonder and respect. Like many herding breeds, these dogs are fearless. Check them out against this bear. These dogs have quite the test here as they're tasked at clearing this bear from their herd. However, the bear isn't having it and gives chase. When he gets the one dog down by the creek, I thought it was over for him, but he miraculously escapes. This was a close call, but the dogs did their jobs. Check this out as these two big boys get after it. Bucks primarily engage in combat during their mating season, which generally occurs in the autumn and winter. During these periods, they spar with their antlers, aiming to overpower rival bucks to establish supremacy and secure mating rights with females. Such encounters can be fierce, occasionally resulting in injuries or even fatalities. Beyond direct combat, bucks might display their vigor through parallel walking, pushing, and shoving matches. These confrontations play a pivotal role in determining the male hierarchy within the herd. The most dominant male, often termed the alpha buck, stands the best chance of mating, thereby ensuring the continuation of his genetic lineage. This combative behavior in deer is crucial for the species' survival, promoting the breeding rates of the fittest males and facilitating the transmission of strong genes to subsequent generations. In other words, the biggest and the baddest get to mate with the hottest female, while the others are left to fend for themselves. I really do love these videos of people helping animals.
It's off! It's off! It's off! Let it go! Let it go! Let it go! Let it out! Let it go! Let it go!
So, have you guys ever heard of rock apes? I mean, forget Bigfoot. These hairy humanoids hail from the jungles of Thailand and Vietnam. Imagine a creature between 3 to 7 feet tall, covered in fur. Red, orange, brown, black. There's always a variation. They just look strong. Broad shoulders, muscular build, but the funny part is that they kind of have a pot belly. Now, unlike their shy American cousin, rock apes aren't afraid of humans. They've even been spotted hanging out with villagers and building fires, which makes them sound pretty intelligent, right? Well, if you don't believe me, things get wild after the Vietnam War. American soldiers come back with stories of encountering these creatures, and these aren't just peaceful hangouts. They claim to have full-blown firefights with rock-throwing rock apes. It got so intense, there was a whole mountainside nicknamed Monkey Mountain because of all of the sightings and all of the battles. Now, some people might scoff that these are trained soldiers we're talking about, and I get it, there really should be another explanation. But check out this soldier talking about his experience, notably a band of large primates throwing rocks at his platoon.
I had heard that there had been previous problems with what we called rock apes, and in fact, at one point, a band of them threw one Marine off the rock pile. And so we were wary of them, without a doubt. This animal was stockier, he was of darker color, a lot more muscular. This different creature would, early in the morning, burst out of the jungle into a clearing and just rail at us, just yell and scream and shake his fists, and it was very human behavior, and it was real obvious that he took exception to our presence there.
Another special clip here from Sonny Vader. Back on May 30th, a trucker near Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, northwest of the Sunchild First Nation Reservation, had a heart-stopping encounter. The man was picking up equipment at a rural industrial site when he spotted a giant beast. I mean, we're talking 11 to 13-ish feet tall, just standing there in the woods amongst the trees. The trucker didn't see it at first, but luckily his dash cam caught the creature on camera as he drove onto the site. According to him, he only realized it was there when he got out of his truck to load the equipment. Now, needless to say, he hightailed it out of there. Sonny says that to investigate further, remote cameras have been set up around the site. You can check his channel out, so stay tuned for updates. This could be a real-life monster sighting. Checking in, we've got some creepy sounds in the woods. This clip from Crypted University on Instagram shows a remote cabin nestled deep in the wilderness. But listen closely, you might hear something besides the usual crickets chirping. Those whoops, howls, and growls in the background? Yeah. Bigfoot believers say that's exactly what they are. Bigfoot vocalizations. I mean, these sounds are the stuff of legend, reported by people who claim to have encountered this hairy giant. They can be loud, deep, and sometimes even sound human-like. There are all sorts of Bigfoot calls on record. Howls and screams said to be long, loud, and eerie. Some folks even compare them to a human scream or a wolf howling. There are growls and grunts that are lower pitched, more animalistic sounds. Then we have whistles and clicks, high-pitched noises some describes as bird-like or even dolphin-like. Wood knocks, which I hear a lot where I live, are also a thing, like someone hitting a tree with a baseball bat. Some researchers think that Bigfoot uses them to communicate over long distances. So, what do you guys think? Do we have a video capturing Bigfoot serenading the Tennessee woods? Many skeptics say these sounds could be anything: wind, animals, people messing around. But like I mentioned in my own life, believers point to how often these reports happen across many places and cultures. Anyhow, listen to the clips again and let me know in the comments. Do we think this is Bigfoot or something else entirely? Okay, check this out. Let me tell you now, this is not something you want to have happen to you. Look as these guys are just frolicking in this waterfall, and one of the guys starts to just lose his mind. He's frantic, and you'll see why in a second. Yes, that is a snake that has crawled up the leg of his pants. Now, I'm not sure how. I don't have any other information. Of course, this could be a hoax, but I mean, this thing looks like it's a pretty big boy. Now, I'll be honest, I don't want an earthworm in my pants, let alone a gigantic 6-foot snake that appears to have latched onto a part of my body I am not willing to lose. Ay, man, get me out of there. Yeah, so this creepy story straight from Reddit user Haunted Luca will have you checking over your shoulder next time you're wandering through the woods. The footage captured on a body camera somewhere in the Sunshine Coast hinterland of Australia has viewers spooked. So the hiker takes a break near some rocks and spots an old tent. It looks to be crumpled up, and his curiosity is begging him for a closer look. Hold on a sec, that's not what we're looking at right now. As something catches our eyes and pulls our attention away from the tattered tent, check what really has everyone buzzing. Look closely at the bushes way back in the background. Some eagle-eyed viewers might catch a glimpse of a tall, dark figure moving slowly behind the trees. It blends in with the shadows, but a closer look, especially in the slow motion section, reveals more. The figure appears again a few seconds later, but like before, it's tough to say for sure without slowing things down. I mean, what is this? Is this a hoax? Is this just some type of trick, or is there something more sinister lurking in Australia? I don't know, maybe it's just a creepy shadow, but I'm not heading to the outback anytime soon, so. Yeah, so this next clip, this hiker's got to be careful. He decided to leave a snack on a trail in hopes he could lure something out. And if you look at the top right corner of the clip, something's lurking in the bushes. The uploader thinks it could be a yowie, Australia's answer to Bigfoot. These legendary creatures are supposed to be tall and hairy, kinda like apes, but with huge feet. Most folks say they're shy and peaceful, while others say they can be aggressive. I'd say that most people agree on one thing: they smell pretty bad. There have been whispers of yowies for ages. Stories from Aboriginal people go back to the 1800s. Even naturalists back then reported seeing these giant hairy guys. One dude said he saw one near Bateman's Bay that was like 5 feet tall, covered in black hair, had beady eyes, hunched shoulders, just pretty creepy. So are these hiker videos the real deal? Could yowies actually be roaming the Australian outback still? Take a closer look at the footage and let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, maybe there's a perfectly normal explanation.